So that's the last time I let a cantaloupe do my taxes. Okay, so we're here to try and get you ready for the IB history test. So I guess there's a couple things that I should say before this. You have paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. Paper 3 is really what this is about. And to be honest, they give you the how many different topics are there for paper 3? 12 or 10? Or I mean topics, not questions.
6, I think.
No, there's more than 6. It's like 12 or 9. Somewhere between 7 and 1,000. So here is, and for each of them, they usually give you 5 or 6 questions. So our goal over the next today, tomorrow, and the next day is to try and refresh your memory enough that if you can't answer any other questions that you've gone over this year, then you can go back and use some of the knowledge that you had from last year. Okay, that's our goal. Is you've been talking about Cold War, civil rights, the Mexican Revolution. So, but if none of those questions look good for you, then you can go back and use some of your knowledge from last year if you want to. Okay. So I have some strategies up here at the top that I'd like to go over, and then I have some major topics that I want you to keep in mind. Because essentially your job is to try and connect, when you're answering your question, you're trying to use themes and specific historical examples or terms to try and structure your answer. That's how you're going to succeed in this, is using these major themes that we've talked about and specific examples. All right, so if this is one of your 4 to 5 focus area for paper 3, don't assume that this review is an adequate preparation. I'm sorry, but we can't go over a month and a half of work in the next 30 minutes. So I'd strongly advise you to go back to your notes and documents and imagine how you would use this information, use the information found to put together a 50-minute essay on some of the topics below. If this is not one of your focus areas, listen closely during the review. The information you may gain here may allow you to write on a topic from this area if your other areas are unanswerable. So essentially, you have to write 3 essays, and this may be one of your focus areas, or it may not be one of your focus areas, but you might be able to answer a question dealing with colonization. So your preparation should focus on broad themes that you can explain through specific examples.
Patrick Williams to the AP office, please. Patrick Williams to the AP office.
Circle themes and then circle specific examples. That's your job, is establish some of the broad themes and back it up with specific historical examples. The documents are often useful here. So some of the major topics in Unit 1, colonization, are political and economic relationships with the colonial powers, Britain, France, Spain, and Portugal. So when we talk about the Spanish government, anytime you're answering a question, these are things that you need to keep in mind that might guide how you're answering the question. The Spanish government was centralized, top-down, non-democratic, and patrimonial. So the English government, on the other hand, was decentralized. You've got the seeds of democracy, and I don't know what failings of imperial structure are. Next to both of those types of government, I want you to write down some of the terms that you may or may not remember dealing with Spanish government and English government. If you don't remember any, then try hard to remember, and then we'll talk about it in a second. So what are some terms that show centralization, top-down, or specific examples for decentralized power or seeds of democracy? All right, turn to the person sitting next to you. What are some examples you have of centralization of power in Spanish and decentralization of power in British colonies? Go. Talk to somebody.
No?
What else? Figure out. I can think of anything related specifically to that. Okay, and then what'd you get for the other one I got back then? Yeah. And then we can talk about
All right. What do you got? Spanish what do I say? Government. Spanish government. Centralization of government.
Well, that's more social.
Yeah. Yes?
Tasas de contratación.
Yeah, there we go. What else you got?
Yes. Consolidation. Is that religion? Religion.
I'm sorry, reforms, consolidation.
Land reform.
Right. Who had all the power? Viceroys, right? Okay. What about some? What terms do we have that links with Casa de Contratación? What kind of? No. Well, no. I mean. Okay. Yeah.
Mercantilism.
Yeah. Mercantilism. Mercantilist policy. Right. Mercantilism. Where you have the government making all the decisions. Okay. What are some examples of decentralized power or some ideas that you have about decentralized power in colonial Britain? Monica?
Was it Virginia House of Burgesses?
Yeah, Virginia House of Burgesses. Making some decisions about taxes, some issues of laws in the New World. Not all of them, but some. Where else do we see seats of democracy where people, if you invest in this, you have some voice? Kelso?
Well, maybe not what you were just talking about.
Okay.
Most recently, but Articles of Confederation.
This is dealing with colonization, so that's way off into the distant. Yes?
Like joint stock companies.
Yeah, joint stock companies. You invest your money in this business, and you should have some voice in that organization. So while the United States is not a business per se, the people that do that have stock in it, we decide what happens with the nation. The same thing happens with joint stock companies. Okay, anybody have any other ideas with governments? I mean, even just that right there, you've got two examples for each. You could squeak out an essay with that. Okay, along the theme of government centralized versus decentralized. So I probably should have started with this, because you're gonna get, I don't know do you know what paper you start with?
One.
Okay, that's probably better. Because paper 3 is probably the worst, because it's this much knowledge, and you get to pick. They give you so much freedom that it probably sucks. So the first thing that you need to do is you should probably go through the different topics and figure out which ones you're good at, which ones do you know the most about, and maybe put a star next to those. Then read through each of the questions, because you've got, what, 2.5 hours to write 3 essays or something stupid like that, or an hour to write 7. That you have to make decisions very quickly about which essays you want to focus on. And so take a good, 3 minutes, look through all of the questions and cross off the ones that you know are no clue whatsoever. Find 3 of them that are good and go with those. Just to be clear, and I'm sure Mrs. Lee has said this, you are taking History of the Americas. So Bernard, can you write about the causes of World War II in Europe?
Yeah.